Background investigation. A thorough background check will be completed. The background phase is highly formal. It will be very different from the recruitment phase, which is often very flexible. Background detectives have many files to work, and even if you turned in your file early but incomplete, it may get processed after a file that came in after yours. Again, this is why it's highly recommended that you meet with a recruiter prior to your testing date to review your packet for completeness. A background detective will verify everything on your PHS and identify any factors that could disqualify you from the process. Any deception will be identified and disqualify you from proceeding. If an intentional deceitful act is discovered, even years after you were hired, you will face termination and likely permanent state decertification from law enforcement service. You should understand that police work requires a high level of professionalism, and police officers are scrutinized heavily throughout their career. It would not serve you nor the department if you were allowed to become a police officer with a questionable background, as it could affect your ability to obtain work elsewhere. Additionally, everyone has made mistakes in their past. You should not assume that something you have done will disqualify you. Being honest and forthcoming with your detective is the best way to get through the background investigation. Dishonesty, rationalization, or being misleading are the most common factors that disqualify a candidate. The most important character trait for all law enforcement personnel is honesty. Be responsive to your background detective. Answer their calls, emails, and/or text messages. Even if the call, text, or email does not require a response, you should respond to it to let them know you have received the information and you acknowledge it. For example, your background detective emails, text message, or calls you and leaves the following message. Hello, this is Detective Jane. I have arranged for you to have an interview at 9 a.m. on Thursday. You should, at a minimum, respond or call back and let the detective know your status and acknowledge their correspondence with, "Thank you, I will be there." Do not reply with emojis such as a thumbs up, smiley face, or other non-professional responses. You should understand that law enforcement background investigations are highly confidential. You will not ordinarily have received detailed information about your disqualification. You may receive instructions on things we wish to see improved. For example, please show a clean driving record for 1 year, then reapply. If you do not receive these type of instructions, the matter regarding disqualification will be held as confidential. You will receive a letter and/or email explaining that you have been disqualified from the process. You will be notified of an appeal process if applicable, and you will need to follow that process should you wish to appeal a disqualification. Your background could take anywhere from a few weeks to several months. A lot of factors may affect the ability of a background to get completed quickly. These factors include, but are not limited to, prior work history and whether you have lived in other states, life experiences such as divorce, terminations, and any and all law enforcement contacts as a victim, witness, or a suspect of a crime, open investigations from law enforcement or civil investigations or litigation, the ability of a background detective to contact any person you list on your PHS as a reference or associate. Therefore, you should ensure all contacts have a phone number, email, and address if you have access to that information. The ability of a background detective to retrieve documentation on any of the above listed factors. We cannot stress enough the importance of honesty and responsiveness during the background process. Your background detective will be dedicating their time amongst many others, so it is necessary for you to be punctual and responsive.